don't survive them. So in your mind, you're saying, well, she's not dead, so.
I can't wait till I get you on the floor, good looking. Hey, going hot, so hot, just like an oven. And I'll burn myself, I just had to touch it. It's so fine, it's so nice, hey, baby. And we don't mind all the watching. Cause if they study close, real close, they might learn something.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. Run away, I don't have to plan it. I can go, change my fate, you won't understand it. All alone, that's okay. People I can't stand them, they don't want me to change.
Welcome back to your Girl Callista channel. Hey ScuffleTown family, and welcome back to my channel. If you do not know this face, I am your girl, ScuffleTown Beauty, Callista J, and this is my channel. Thank you for being a part of my channel. If you're already a faithful follower, thank you so much for your support. I cannot explain to you how wonderful it is to have you a part of the family. And if you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. You know, you get a little bit of beauty, makeup, skincare, and a little bit of the Bible. So if you have not done so already, please make sure to hit the subscribe below. Make sure you hit that bell beside it for your notifications. That way you'll know when I'm on. And everybody has been waiting on this part of the vlog. Everybody has been waiting on my testimony. Thank you for the ones that have been faithful and have been like truly anticipating and ready to hear what went on with my testimony. You guys, it will blow your mind. But first of all, thank you once again for being a part of the ScuffleTown family. You are in the scuffle with another video with your girl, Callista J. But to start off by saying thank you to the ones, y'all, I am embracing my curly hair again. So you guys are going to be seeing my curly hair a lot because I'm trying to embrace my curls again. So if you see me touching my hair a lot, please overlook it for right now. It's only because I'm trying to get used to my hair being curly again. That is my natural curl. Nothing done to it. This is just water and curl. Y'all used to see my hair flat orange, so I'm embracing my natural curl. And like I said, if you see me touching my hair doing this, please just give me time to adjust because I'm like looking at, you know, it's just a process. So first off, like I said, thank you once again to my faithful subscribers, and to my new subscribers, welcome, welcome, welcome. So everyone has been wondering what happened to your girl last year. Where did you go? Then you were seeing me having brain surgery, seeing little clips here, little clips there. You were like, what is happening? And I promised you guys my full, whole testimony. So we're going to jump right into it. First off, we're going to start off by saying, you guys, if you are having any kind of headaches, migraines, anything like that, dealing with your head hurting or your health period, please, please do not overlook any of your symptoms. Don't ever overlook anything when you're in pain. When you're in pain, that is your body's way of telling you something is wrong. Okay? So please, please don't ever, ever overlook that point. Okay? But we're going to start off. So you guys already know that from my prior, my already faithful subscribers, you know that I had migraines. So I had already been having migraines, and this started off in last year in May. So halfway of May, I had one of my migraines, and it was just getting bad. It was getting bad. Things were getting even worse. So I told my husband, listen, and when I have my migraines, I have to go into a cold, like ice polar room. Like literally our bedroom had its own separate unit for the air conditioner that fits in your window, where I could get it extra cold in my room whenever I had, my migraines. So it was a dark room, cold, for a good week. When I tell you my migraines knocked me on my booty, they knocked me on my booty. And it took me a good week or so to recuperate, to get my energy back, to be able to function, to be able to get dressed. That's how bad my migraines were. So I thought this was my typical, my basic, my normal, and it's not normal. And I'm saying it as normal because I was so used to having them that I considered it normal, which it wasn't. It's not normal to have a headache or a migraine period. There's a difference between a headache and a migraine, major difference. So I was having, my basic, my normal, what I call my basic normal, which weren't migraines. And I had told my husband, listen, here we go again, and it happened every so many months. So my husband was like, okay. So we automatically would go to the ER or to, what do you call it? The emergency, not the emergency room, but the other one, urgent care. So urgent care or either the emergency room, and they would combine two shots that they would give me. Okay. So this is how this started off, and this is the last part of May. So this is how it begins. So let's talk about it. Let's go. Listen, if you have migraines, know that you know that you know. For my boys and girls that have them, get yourself checked. Make sure you get yourself checked, because sometimes it can be so serious, you understand? Thank you so much once again to my followers that have been faithful and been waiting on this vlog. So, on to the vlog. Oh, and another thing. Through this, you will realize how much God kept me alive. And my sin is no different than other sins. If you steal a piece of candy compared to stealing from a whole store, it's the same sin. And God kept me, and He saved me. He left that 99 to get that one that had strayed away. My sin is no different. So make sure you keep that in mind, okay? All right. Okay. Let's go. Yo, I just realized my mic wasn't on. So anyway, my mic's on now, so you might hear a difference in sound. So come a day or two into this migraine specifically, and this was in 2022, I it wasn't like usual. I could go to the ER or I could go to the hospital and I could get a shot that they would give me for people with migraines. And the two medicines in the shot mixed together with the shot would give that migraine a dose of, okay, it's time to stop. And then usually, you still felt the migraine, but it kind of calmed the throw up down. And I'm so sorry if it's TMI for a lot of people, but I promised my full testimony, and you guys have been waiting long enough to hear it all. So I'm going to give all the nitty gritty, okay? So it usually calmed the, sick on the stomach down. I could go home, sleep it off. It would still take me 2 or 3 days to sleep it off. Like I said, for my girls and guys that know, you know that you know that you know that you know when you got a migraine. So the last week of May, and it was almost fixing to be the first day of June, I was pacing the floor. Like the nausea was staying at 10 or 100, really. Like it was way past 10. It was staying at 100. I was pacing the floor with something in my hand to get sick in. My husband was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, something's just not right. I cannot shake this." Um, my migraines usually are calmed down by this time. They're usually mellowed out by this time. I'm usually by now, I'm already had a few days of it. So by today, I should have been just pretty much fixing to bounce back the next day. Nah. So if y'all hear the puppy in the background barking, I got him outside where he wouldn't be barking, where you'd hear him in here. But anyway, so I'm pacing back and forth. So the whole time, not only am I sick on the stomach, but my stomach's getting tore up, and that's not usual for me with my migraines. My stomach usually don't get tore up like when you eat something wrong and your stomach's messed up, you know what I'm saying, without being too much TMI. And I was like, wait a minute, there's just some different, So off to the emergency room I go. I've already been to get my shot whenever my migraine starts because that's an automatic. That's automatic. So this is my second time going. So when I go this time, I'm explaining to the doctor. The doctor's like, well, you more or less, I look at your charts. You usually don't have to come right back. You're usually okay. And then it's months before you have another one. So I'm like, Doc, something is majorly different this time. Something's different. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. And I don't want anybody, if you're a doctor or anything, I just want you to please pay attention to what I'm saying. And if you're not this type of person, please don't take it hard. But we have some doctors that really don't care. They just care about a paycheck. They care about you coming in. Oh, I'm gonna hit you with an antibiotic. You'll be fine. Come back if you need us. Listen, like I said, if you're not that type of doctor and you're a doctor, please, please don't take it. Because this one that I had was really, really a bad one. He was really sorry to my situation. Okay, I'm gonna say it like that because I'm trying to say it the best way that I can and the most Christian way that I can. So I'm telling him, what's going on. So he's already told the nurses to go get my usual shot mixed up to give me again. That it, well, that it must be just the same thing. He's just taking it for his own thoughts instead of asking me what's different, what's going on from your other ones. So I am voicing the whole time, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's different. My head feels like it's up. I had so much pressure on my head, you guys, this time that I literally felt my skin stretching. And I'm not joking. I felt my scalp, I could feel it stretching. Like my head was needing more room and it didn't have room to give. So I'm telling him the whole time, Doc, listen, I'm back. This is not normal. You see that it's not normal. You've already looked at me and said, oh, you're back? Yes, I am back. So obviously there's something wrong. So I'm already giving him the benefit of the doubt because we live in a area where there's a lot of drug use going on. There's a lot of things going on that doctors are always on high alert because of people just want medicine, if you get what I'm saying, right? So since I live in this community, that's what he's looking at me as. Wrong. That is the wrong thing to do. And like I said, if you're a doctor, please, or nurse, please don't take this the wrong way. It's just if you've ever overlooked things or if you've seen somebody back to back, even if they are the type that comes in just for medicine, please double check things. Or if this person comes from this type of area and you know that by their chart that they're not a druggie, please take that in consideration. So he didn't. This is the second night, okay? This is not knowing what was going on, okay? And you'll know the further I get because your mind is going to be blown. So he continues to ask me, well, what's different? And I said, something's different, blah, blah. And the whole time I'm speaking, you could tell it was just him asking the question. He wasn't even paying no attention. It was just, so next thing I know, the nurses is coming in. They're doping me up. And that's the only way and the only word you can use is they were doping me up. That way they could just send me on out the door. So he says, wow, you sound just like a person that's had an aneurysm, brain bleed. Okay, so if that's what I sound like, why not go and check? Even though you know that people that have aneurysms, they don't survive aneurysms. They don't survive them. So in your mind, you're saying, well, she's not dead, so she's talking to me, she's not dead, so I'm just going to rule that out. So we continue to go on, and things are still worse and getting worse and get worse. So the third night, so we're on the third night. This was after already going a week with thinking it was my regular migraine. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the 10th day of still like, but it's only the third day of going back to the emergency room. I mean, you get my calculations. I hope you are. So he continues to dope me up and does not do a brain scan, does not do anything, blah, blah, blah. Once again, if you need me, y'all come on back. I'm still sitting there, humped over, sick as a dog. I'm holding my head, holding on to things, holding on to the bed. And he's actually looking at me saying, if you need me, come back. Y'all, the whole time this has been going on, okay, I have been faithful to Lord, hold my hand. Lord, be the doctors, be the nurses. I need you, Father. No matter what, I've kept my faith. I've kept my faith. My faith has not wavered no matter what has been going on, even with the extreme pain. I could have been the type of person that said, Lord, you're letting me go through this pain like this? You ain't taking care of me. But I didn't. I know that God is still God and He knows everything. So He knew what I was going through. Okay? So that we realized that the doctor was going to just push us out the door like usual. So we go on home. My husband's still on high alert. He's like, this is not normal. I'm telling him this is not normal. My head is pure kicking me, and I am just still steady. When I tell you 24 hours a day, I was not sitting down or laying down. I was walking, pacing back and forth the floor. I knew something majorly was just off. So I'm still like, you guys, when I tell you God is God no matter what, and no matter what you go through, you always keep your faith and tell him that you know that he's God and that you know he's your healer, your provider, your everything. No matter what, I even had people saying, "How are you still with the pain?" And I'm seeing it. How are you keeping your faith? How? Listen, don't get me wrong. It is very hard. It is very, very hard. But I know no matter what, no matter without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what I go through in life, my God is still God. He is still my breath in my lungs. He is still my everything. He still is the one that says it's time or it's not time. I'll heal or I'm not healing. There's always a reason, okay? There's always a reason. So fast forward for the next night. So from the time the night before that I came home from the hospital, I was still pacing, still pacing. My husband was like, "You're not getting any better." And I'm like, "Babe, there is something majorly, majorly, majorly different, and something is wrong." Okay. So, like, remember what I told you about in between time, I was going back and forth to the bathroom. Um, I felt like I had to use the restroom. This specific night, after I had been to the ER by ambulance, y'all, not even by my own regular ride. It was so bad we had to call 911 each night. I meant to tell you that. But every night I went by ambulance. So every night going by ambulance, the doctor should have knew that there was something really, really, really wrong. He should have been on such high alert with me and looking at my case and knowing that I'm not a druggie. I'm not a person that comes in all the time, but I have been here back to back with with my head something and telling them that there's something different, there's something wrong. So fast forward, I go, I can feel things getting worse. And I'm like, seriously? What in the world is going on? Why would things be getting worse? What in the world? So I go to the restroom. My husband's still sitting on the couch. He's keeping an eye on me. And he's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I got to go back to the bathroom." He's like, "Your stomach's still messed up." I was like, "Yeah, but there's nothing on it I couldn't get nothing down. So there's nothing on it. But feel like I got to go." So I go to the bathroom. I sit down on the toilet, and that is what it is. The throne, the toilet, the porcelain chair. Okay. When I'm sitting down, I probably have been sitting down 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. I look up on the wall, and somehow we had got ants in the house. And I've heard this saying before of when something is about to happen, the Lord's got you. No matter what you're fixing to go through, that you'll see something beautiful. So I noticed for the first time when ants pass each other, even if they find a pile of sugar, and each ant's going past each other, grabbing the sugar and rounding back around past each other, and it's like what I'm saying? It's like a string where a line of ants is picking sugar up, coming back around, coming past the ants that's going to get sugar. You know, I never noticed that every time they pass each other, they greet each other and they love on each other. So I noticed that every time each ant was passing each other. Their antennas were touching each other doing that. And they would continue on. And I was like, wow, that is beautiful. And I was in so much pain. It was like, how can I even be focused on this with being in so much pain? But then it dawned on me. So all of a sudden, like I said, I hadn't been sitting there long enough for my hips to be fell asleep. All of a sudden, I feel the feeling of, you ever hit your elbow and that really hard tingling feeling? You're like, oh, that's not a funny bone. Oh, that's a hard tingling. And you're waiting for that tingling hard feeling to go away. Or better yet, have you ever had your foot or leg fall asleep? Like really, really fall asleep to the point when it starts to wake up, it's like that hard tingling. You feel like somebody's hitting all your nerves. You're like, ooh, ooh, come on, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. That feeling, I felt that in the whole, whenever I tell you like one whole hip, like not around it, not in the middle of it, not in certain parts of it, but my whole both hips had that feeling in it. And I was like, I had so many thoughts going through my head of I haven't been sitting here long enough for my booty to be fell asleep. Needless to say, I felt that feeling in both my hips, right? Like my whole hip. And then all of a sudden, that whole feeling, you never had seen the action power like Mortal Kombat where they say, or Karate Kid says to summon up the energy of the fireball, and they're like, and then the fireball's in their hand and they shoot the fireball. Now listen, I'm not exaggerating. So just picture this. So I felt all the energy being summoned up. Like I felt that tingling. I was like, ooh, ooh. So I put my hand on the counter, the sink beside the toilet, and I was like, ooh, and I was fixing to stand up because I was like, if my booty's falling asleep, and I'm gonna stand up and get it to kind of wake up. Maybe it's just, whatever. But I felt that feeling just start to do this. And all of a sudden, all that feeling came to the middle of the bottom of my spine. And when I tell you, like I felt this. And then when it went to the bottom of my spine, I felt it starting to come up my spine. When it got this far up, okay, let's just say your spine's length of this screen, okay? When it got about this far, I was already on high alert, like that feels weird going up my spine. And then next thing I know, it went from here. I could feel it moving. Can feel it moving. It got halfway and I was like, oh no, something's up. What in the world? I can literally feel that feeling going up my spine. That's something not right. So when I went to get up, I must have triggered it and it shot up. And when it hit the back, not my neck, but where your skull starts, right? When it hit that back part of my skull, y'all, this is the way my body and my face went. And this might look funny, y'all, but I'm showing you what was going on, okay? I was trying to talk, couldn't speak. My eyes were jumping back and forth like I'm showing you because I promised you guys the whole testimony. I was trying to get up, and when I got up, I couldn't get my clothes up. And I knew something was wrong because when it hit the back of my skull, it was like I had been punched from the back of my head by the most powerful person in the world. And I felt like I had 5 migraines. Y'all, let's stop for a minute. I'm not joking. If you can picture having 1 migraine, if you can picture having 1 migraine, imagine having 5 at one time. That's why my eyes wouldn't stop jumping back and forth. I couldn't get my speech to come. My nervous system was freaking out. Okay, you're going to find out why. So I couldn't get my clothes back up. So I'm thankful I could even stand up. So I'm stumbling, grabbing the wall, going out the bathroom. I realized that I can't speak. I can't say nothing. Nothing. And I couldn't see straight because my eyes were going When I tell you they were going like this right here, I caught my head going with them. But when I stopped my head, my eyes were still doing this. I was like, something's, oh my God, I don't know what's happened, but Lord. And I stopped right there. When I tell you guys, please keep your faith in God. When something's going on, please call on his name. Please still say, Lord, whatever it is, I'm sorry. Whatever it is, please help me, touch me, be with me. I'm sorry, so sorry. I realized something was severely wrong, so I was beating the wall. I was beating it hard enough to get my husband's attention because I knew I couldn't speak, I couldn't see straight, I couldn't get my clothes up. All I knew is that there was something really, really had just really went wrong. Whew. Mm. It still brings like it brings it all back to me. I'm sorry. So when I tell you, no matter what, and even if you have not given your life to the Lord, please give your life to the Lord. Because you don't know what is going to go on, that you are going to need him. And we as human beings are bad. We are bad for calling on him when something is going wrong. Oh dear God, this such as when we need to be calling on him all the time. All the time. And I'm so sorry, y'all. Like I said, when I give my full testimony, you're gonna be like, wow, wow. So I've got a reason to be I'm still traumatized. I'm still traumatized. Okay. Whew. Okay. So my husband gets up and he looks around the corner like this. Like, what in the world's all that noise? He looks around, he realizes that it's me beating on the wall and I'm dragging my clothes because I couldn't get them back up. So he realizes me and he goes, what is it? What is it? And I couldn't say anything. All I could do was bring my hand up to say 911. 911. We had already called 911 every night this week, y'all. Like every night this week, and he was like, oh my God. He was like, are you sure? And he only asked me, was I sure, out of he was freaking out. And I was like, and I couldn't even see him straight because my eyes, and he looked at me and I could see him when he bent down and he was like, oh my God. And he was calling them and they were telling him, is she having a heart attack? He was like, I don't know. Is she having a stroke? He was like, I don't know. She can't speak. She can't see straight. She can't function. And they were telling him what to do until they got here. So prior to my ambulance rides, other nights, I had got some ambulance people that didn't care either. They were just about their job, getting you on there, couldn't care less what was going on, getting you to the hospital when they're supposed to be the doctors until they get to the hospital of checking you out, looking at you, keeping an eye on you. But this night, thankfully, the Lord blessed me because he gave me one of my longtime friends that had been on the ambulance, on the paramedic squad. He happened to be on there and he was like, I'm always working days, and I just happen to have to be on nights tonight. And he knew that something was completely like tragically wrong. You guys, and I know this vlog is going to be a little long, but you guys have waited on this for so long, and I am going to give you the full story of what God done for your girl. So, I couldn't even see him straight. He looked at my eyes. He tilted my face up. He was like, Callista, what's wrong? Can you speak? And I was shaking my head, no. So he got me on the ambulance. And since my eyes was doing that, he knew that he realized my nervous system and I couldn't speak. He realized that it was freaking out for whatever reason was going on. So he put a towel over my face and covered my vision. That way my eyes would be protected. Needless to say, fast forward, even with this going on, the same doctor was there. He doped me up so much that it was ridiculous. And he sent me home again. By then, I was so, as a Christian, it's hard to keep your composure when you get mad at some things. And you're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be, as a human, you're allowed to be upset. You just can't hold a grudge and you can't be mad at someone. You know what I mean? So by this time, I was just completely floored. I'm like, this has happened, and he's not even. Needless to say, I was doped up so much, and once again, if you need us, come back. And I've been by ambulance every night for 6 days. Every night for 6 days. You should know by then something is really, truly wrong. Even with him being in there and saying, if you need us, come back. And I'm still telling him, no, there's something. You need to figure it out. There's something wrong. I'm crying. I'm in tears, and my husband is just about ready to blow up. We were pretty much pushed out of the hospital. What are you to do when you're pushed out of the hospital? So we're going to fast forward to the next day. The next day, I'm so doped up that even through the pain, I'm being like falling out, like passing out, kind of, So my husband has to go to work. My son's here, so I'm like, if I need him, I got someone here. We're going to have to figure out what's going on. We're going to have to do something. So I am still in excruciating pain, you guys. So next thing I know, something felt like I want to say a pop, but it weren't like a big, like a balloon popping. It was like a pressure point popping. Almost like you got like something so tight, and then all of a sudden you feel like that, and it loosens up. And the pain like come like the day before, whenever we had to call 911 and I was coming down the hospital, just like I just told you, my eyes were jumping, that pain. So I called my mom. I said, Mom, get me to the hospital and get me there. And by this time, I've never said this in my life. I've never been in so much pain that I've even come close to saying something like this. But I said to myself and to the Lord, Lord, if this is what it's going to be like, take me home. I've given my life to you. Take me home. I can't live like this. This is too much. And when I tell you it was too much, if you could even imagine having 5 migraines at one time, that, if one is like, whoa. So imagine 5. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Now, you might think I'm exaggerating, but you'll know why in just a minute. So, Mom's like, you sure? I'm coming. She don't even question it. So I'm saying this, and I'm saying this to my mind and to the Lord, Lord, if this is what it's going to be about. And then I'm praying on top of it, Lord, please don't give me the same doctor. Please, because they've got to do something today. They've got to do something today. They've got to do something today. I can't. And I told my mom, and my mom was even on the same note as I was. She said, they're going to do something today, or if we got a protest, we will stay in that hospital room until they do something, or they'll call the cops. So when we get there, I'm still, this whole week I've had something in front of me getting sick because my system was just so messed up. So next thing I know, I'm sitting on the side of the hospital bed. My mom's sitting there, and we're waiting for the doctor to come in. I'm praying and I'm hoping and I'm hoping and I'm praying and I'm praying and I'm hoping and I'm hoping and praying that it's not the same doctor. That Lord give me another doctor that'll understand and take things serious. So when I look, I'm getting sick again. And I ain't got nothing to get sick. So it's like dry heaving. If you know what dry heaving, that's like throwing up with nothing, nothing. So I happened to hold my head up like this here and lifted my eyes because I was so exhausted, and I seen him. Ooh, my God. Y'all, nothing can explain the feeling that I had seeing this man. I was like, I start bawling, crying. Mama like, are you okay? Is it you crying because you're pain? And I was like, no. And I was like, Mom, it's him. It's him. It's him. It's him. And she was like, don't worry. Don't worry. No matter what, we're going to do something today. So fast forward, I'm sitting there and I know he's getting ready to walk in. So he walks in. He's, Miss, and he's folding his arms. You're back again? Yes. Yes, I'm back. Yeah. There's something wrong. Uh, yeah, I'm back. So remember what I told you? The first night I came, what did he tell me? You sound like a person that's had a what? An aneurysm brain bleed rupture, which people don't survive. So I told him right then, I said, whatever you got to do, I am not leaving this hospital. And whenever I tell you I voiced my voice with keeping my Christian on a good note, I told him that he needed to figure out what was going on, or he needed to put me in the hospital as of right then, that something was severely wrong. So he says, you know what? I'll be right back. I'm going to go speak to my colleague right quick. So here's where everything starts to happen. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Just like a hospital in an ER, if your ERs are like ours, the doctors are in a little pod the rooms are around the wall, right? All the hospital rooms is in like a horseshoe, right? In the middle of the floor is the pod, the round circle that the doctors are in, right? So I could see him, and then he was speaking to a lady. That must have been his colleague. When I tell you the look on this lady's face, I will never forget. I was looking at them to see what their reaction was going to be. He said something and pointed down at it had to be in my scans. And when she looked down, I'm going to show you exactly what she done. Just imagine, here's a computer in front of me, right? And here's a phone, what they usually got. A phone's right here, computer, their papers, their pens. They were standing up, so they put their hands down on the counter and leaned over. When I tell you, as soon as she done this and leaned over, her face shot up like this, and she jerked the phone up. That's the way she looked, okay? And I mean, she was, and you could tell, no, you knew that she was saying, right now, right now, right now. So her and the doctor, they're still trying to keep peace. They're trying to keep their calmness. And they end up coming back in the room, her and him. And he says my name, Miss Callista. It was like like I said in the first place that I thought it was, you have had an aneurysm brain bleed rupture. What? 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 You have let me go all this week and my brain has been bleeding? And just because I didn't die or I wasn't dead when the ambulance brought me in, you didn't pay it no attention? What? My mom's face. So right then, they're like, we're getting ready to transport you, which I knew that. We're getting ready to transport you to so-and-so hospital. They're a hospital that's for brain trauma. And it is that bad. Your brain is full of blood, and we don't know how in the world you are even sitting here looking at us. We don't know how you're not dead. Okay? We don't know. But I did. I knew why I was alive. I knew why I was sitting there, and I looked at him and I said that was the grace of God. So it was so bad, you guys, so severe that I'm like, okay, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to be transported to get it under control. You know, I'm fixing to die. I'm fixing to die. The whole time I'm looking at my mom, she looks like a ghost. She has lost color in her face. She's making phone calls to my husband to get him there. My best friend, she worked at the hospital. We're trying to get, because we're pretty sure we're not going to see each other again. So, um, so it was so severe, y'all. Just to fast forward, it was so severe that they couldn't take me by ambulance. I had to be put on a helicopter and flew from this hospital. I had to be flew to the other hospital. They couldn't waste time because time had already been wasted, and they couldn't chance putting me on an ambulance because it was that bad of trauma that I needed to be flew, and I couldn't be riding on a rough road to be jolted around. Um, but I had suffered a aneurysm, a brain bleed, which is a brain bleed rupture, that as soon as it hits you, which it hit me in my bathroom, that's what I was telling you about, the feeling that came up my spine and hit me in the head. It was already in motion, but that's when it hit me. I should have been dead right then. My husband should have found me in the bathroom dead. The doctors, just fast forwarding, I was flew to the hospital. They called the brain surgeon. The brain surgeon had just gotten off, bless his heart. And he told them that it was so bad that he couldn't wait till the next day. He was coming right back in to do brain surgery. I had to have 2 brain surgeries. I was in ICU. Um, you guys, this is how good God is. This is how wonderful God is. He had held me he had took care of me the whole time I was at home and going through that pain. He had me. He had me. He already knew that, for one, he was waking me up. Callista, it's time to quit riding the fence. It's time for you to realize you're mine. I have something special for you to do. But needless to say, I was in ICU. My doctor comes in and he's got a whole list. He's like, do you realize, for one, you should not have survived that. We don't have them survive that. For two, the ambulance should have gotten there picking up your body, dead on arrival. For three, the ones that do make it on the ambulance on the way to the hospital, they die. That's the lucky ones. if you do make it to the hospital for another thing, from being on the ambulance, they should have already been putting me on life support. I should have been on life support. And after then, that's what was happening, was it was shutting down. My reason my eyes were jumping back and forth, my speech was took, is because my body was shutting down. The pain that was coming, that I was having, which I thought was my regular migraines, which was not. It's called the thunderclap headache. And that is an aneurysm. That's the pain that they call that the aneurysm produces. And if you survive the aneurysm at the moment, the pain from it should be too much for your heart and cause you to have a heart attack. You heard me right. No matter if I would have survived right then, I should have, even though I survived for the second, I should have been having a heart attack. And I felt my heart flipping out. And they're pretty sure that I was having a heart attack. It's just the Lord had something more for me to do. Even with that, the doctor said, even if you survive coming off of life support after that, you are pretty much a vegetable, and we are calling hospice. And everybody knows what hospice is. Hospice is the care, doctor care, nurse care unit that comes in your home and takes care of you till you die. They should have been already being prepped for me. I should have been on life support, for one. For two, I would have been in a wheelchair the rest of my life, a vegetable. I would have been my he said my sight should have been gone. That's the reason everything was shutting down and doing like it was doing. My sight should have been gone. My speech should have been gone. I should have been hospitalized. Could never walk because I couldn't control my body. My nervous system, everything would have been damaged from the aneurysm. I felt all of this, y'all. And for my Savior to have enough of love for me to save me and keep me from all this happening, yo, I wasn't even put on life support. I wasn't. I wasn't put on life support. The doctors till today are still amazed. They're like, how would I've had them ask me over and over, well, how long, Miss Callista, have you been intubated? Intubated means on life support. How long were you intubated? And I was like, I wasn't, sir, or ma'am. And their face look up from their folders like, huh? Huh? What? Nah. And I tell them, let me tell you something, without skipping a beat, I tell them every time, my God, my Lord is the one that done this for me. He had another plan for me. He's the one that kept me off of life support and kept me alive, for one. He's the one that kept me alive. I am a walking miracle. I'm a walking testimony that doctors are still amazed and like, you had what? And you are sitting here looking at me and you're normal? I've had them tell me that. You've had what? You had a what? And you're sitting here looking at me and you don't look like nothing's happened to you. It's because of my God. It's because of my God. My God. And He can be your God too. They have been amazed. So while I was in ICU, y'all, the Lord gave me confirmation that not only was He getting my life on track, but He had done this where the world would see what He can do for your life. And I was kind of confused at first. I was like, wait, what? He let me know that it just wasn't for me to get my life together, but it was to show others. That way they could, just like with the doctors looking at my paperwork and seeing what happened to me, but I'm not on life support. I'm not still fighting for, I should have still been now. And it's 6 months ago. Like the doctor said, I should have still been in ICU on life support fighting for my life. But do you see me? Now I have some speech problems even more. I have problems with memory on some stuff, but that was because certain things were damaged from the trauma. Okay? But my God, he can do. It is true what he can do for you. And if you're on drugs or if you're fighting in a marriage or whatever, he can do it for you. He done it for me. Do you understand? My family should have found me dead. My brain had ruptured and was bleeding for that whole week, y'all. The whole time that doctor was sending me home, my brain had been bleeding. That was the reason everything was happening to me. But he can do it for you, just like he done it for me. You guys, after that, tell you a quick story. After that, I ended up, I kept myself protected because I knew I had one more brain surgery to go through. I just had it, and I'll tell you what happened after that. But before that, I knew I had one more brain surgery to go. So with COVID and everything going on, I always wear a mask. So I ended up with the flu. Okay, you got me because I don't know. But the flu was so bad that I ended up with the flu. So with me ending up with the flu, my heart was tripping out and me still recovering from an aneurysm, and I was on really high medicines from having an aneurysm. They had to end up putting a stent in my brain. And if you know what a stent is, it's a piece that goes up in your brain and it acts as a wall to stop the bleeding. So they put a stent in my head, so I'm on high alert, I'm high risk. So they put me in the hospital. I'm just so sick and I'm developing a fever. So in between this time, I come in contact with the doctor that is treating me. And he even asked me, how long were you intubated? Sir, I wasn't intubated. What? He literally stepped back, folded his arms and looked. He done it. And I noticed he done it in threes. Okay? He was like, what? And you can see me and you're talking to me. He was so stunned. He was so stunned that the nurse came back and told me whenever he left the room, what did you say to him? And I told him, I told him my God done this. My God was the one that done this. He's the one that kept me alive and the reason I'm not on life support and the reason I wasn't on life support. And she said, I knew something. She said, because he's a Bible joker. He jokes about God. He jokes about the Bible. I hope I changed his life. I hope she said he was so floored. You know, when we say floored, we mean he was so amazed that he just stood there with that folder and was telling them, do you know her story? Do you know her story? And the nurse that was taking care of me that was Christian, she said, yeah, I do. Isn't it amazing? And he's like, man, wow. So I hope I changed his life. I hope my testimony changes so many lives. That's all I wanted to do is change lives. So, in and up, y'all, I have had my third brain surgery. And with my third brain surgery, I am, wait for it, I am aneurysm free. I'm healed. Which even before then, Lord has been telling me and he has been confirming way before that he had already healed me. Just to trust and believe that I was healed. And I did. I did not lose trust. Not one time. Not one time. Listen, if you have not given your life to God, please give your life to him. Just listening to my story, know that he is real. Know what he can do for you, and know that he is God. He is King. He is Alpha, Omega. He is beginning and the end. He is the healer, our provider, our everything, you guys. But like I said, he had already told me even before I had my surgery, You're healed. Just trust and believe that it is done. Now, what if I wouldn't have trusted and believed? It could have been a whole nother outcome. But I trusted and I believed that He was my healer and He had already healed me. So I even went into this surgery knowing that I was healed. And then when the doctor looked over after my surgery was done, y'all, what was kind of creepy was when brain surgery, I had to stay awake. That was creepy. Y'all, that was creepy. Oh my God, that was creepy. But when he looked over at me, he was like, "We good, girl. You are. Your aneurysm is healed up." And I told him, I said, "I already knew that. My God had already confirmed that." Thank you, doctor. I love you and I thank you so much for being my doctor, taking care of me and situating everything. I sure appreciate it. Thank you for everything. But I hope that my testimony touched somebody. And I know it was a little fast, but I didn't want to hold y'all too long. And I knew y'all had been waiting on this testimony to know what happened with me last year. The reason I hadn't let out some of my vlogs. And you were like, where are you at? Where you been? Y'all, I had been in the hospital having brain surgery with everything going on. And now you know where I had been and what had been going on. But yes, I am done with my brain surgeries. I am still here. And I want you to be a part. Ooh, it's warm. I want you to be a part of my ScuffleTown family. Come join. Make sure you hit that subscribe down at the bottom. Hit that notification bell beside it. Come join me because I got many more things coming for you. And if you're a faithful follower already, you know your girl does skincare. I do makeup tutorials. So everything on top of letting you know a little bit about the Lord. But if you're a Christian, please be praying for others, not just for yourself. Pray for others that they will change their life and that prayer is what brings it through. Prayer is what breaks those walls down. Staying faithful, believing and trusting in God. And if I wouldn't, my whole outcome could have been a way different. I could have been in the grave, but Lord seen He left that 99, like the Bible said, He left that 99 to come get that one that had strayed away. And He knew I had strayed away, but He has something for my life, and I am here for it. You know what I'm saying? I am here for it. Those Bible stories are not just fairy tales, y'all. Can you imagine if you've got children, if you don't have children, imagine your daddy or somebody like that. Imagine them having nails nailed through their feet and hands, but they're giving their life so you can live. Y'all, these are real things. But if you have not given your life, I hope my story touches you to the core of your soul and you give your life to Him and know that He is God. He is the King of all kings. He is Alpha Omega. He is the beginning and the end. I hope you know that He died for you and give your life to Him. Give your life to Him. Listen, I want to pray with you before I go. So I want everybody, and if you're ready to give your life to Him, please, please say this prayer. And I'm going to give you this prayer on top of, praying this prayer for you. But I want you to pray this with me. If you're ready to give your life. Father, I know you are King. I know you died on the cross for me. I know that you are for me and not against me, and I give my life to you. I give my life to you, and I know that as of now, that you are wiping my slate clean, and I have no more sins. They have been wiped clean. I am yours, and I am giving my life to you today. And sometimes I can't go day by day. Sometimes it's moment by moment. Sometimes it's second by second. But Lord, I know that you are here for me and you are my Savior. You are King of kings and Lord of lords, and I give my life to you. And if you have given your life to Him through my testimony, Lord, please let me know below that you've given your life. because I want to pray for you. And please leave your testimonies below. I want to hear your testimonies. I want to hear something that's happened in your life, whatever it may be. But Lord, please cover my family. Cover my friends that are listening to me through this recording, Lord. Whether or not it's later on, whether it's right now, whether it's a year later, Lord, I ask you to cover them and their family. Cover them with your blood because you had died on the cross for us, Father God. And we believe in everything. We believe you are a healer, our provider, our everything. Lord, I love you with every piece and soul of my body and everything, Father God. Lord, cover us with your blood. Lord, the ones that have not given you their life, Lord, we ask you right now to cover them and to give them such a presence of you that they can't stand it no more and they just run to the altar, or they give their life to you in their car, their home, their office, wherever they are, Father God. Lord, cover them, Lord, from harm, and Lord, and allow them to give their life to you, Lord. I love you and I adore you. And I thank you for what you're taking me through. I thank you for saving my life and saving me from the pit of hell, because my sin was no different from the others, Lord. In Jesus' name. Hit that subscribe button below, the notification bell, and come join the family. Bye.